What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back on this Friday, where we're going to talk about players we're being linked with, looking at the team and saying, I'm not doing this. And this one is Sudakov. And you might say it's old news, happened a day ago, but I'm out, so video on Friday. But Sudakov watched Juve games and said, this is not for me. That's what we're going to talk about in this one because it's very significant of a statement for a player who is not our player and we're just being linked with. So that's what we're going to do. Like the video. Let's push to 85 likes. So hit that like button now. Subscribe. Close to 5K. Hit the bell notification and let's jump into the harsh reality. Okay, so when we spoke on this channel so many times about players care about what we do on the pitch. They care about formations and setups. And when Allegri comes out and say it's not about formations, or you have others saying it's not about formations, well, it is. It is about playing style of formations. It's a lot, and we know that, and we see that with Chiesa, who's extremely frustrated. We see that with all our attackers lately, who are very frustrated, or in the past last couple of seasons, and now we see it with a player we're just being linked with in Sudakov. So Sudakov obviously linked with us, and this is what he had to say. He said, Juve has already made an official offer to sign me. I've seen how they play, but I don't see the 3-5-2 formation suitable for me. I've also started watching the games. The style of play counts 100% in choosing my future. I've seen Juve and they only play 3-5-2, a formation that's not very standard for me. Now, first off, before people get in the comments and say, oh, Sudakov is not a good player, he's not worth X amount of millions. That's not the point right now. Like, that's not the point. If you rate Sudakov or you don't rate Sudakov, if you think he's worth 1 million or if you think he's worth 1,000 million euros. That's not the point. The point is we're being linked with a player and he's very open to the media to say, I've watched him play and no, I'm not going to take that risk in my career, in my development. I respect that. That's a player who is very cautious about his decision making, who's very involved in his decision making. Actually, it's very mature. It suggests that he's a player who knows what he wants in the future, who wants to get better, who wants to be at the top, and will pick the ideal situation. It's not because he's linked with Juve. It's like, oh man, I'm going to Juve. It's like, no, I watched him play 3-5-2. That's not for me. That's not going to work for me. And that's also happening with players in our current squad, like a Chiesa. He's looking at this and he's like, this is not helping. This is not good for me. Has he been playing well individually? No. But he's looking at the formation and it's frustrating him, like it was frustrating Di Maria, and he said so. Like it's well documented that he said so. Like other players who will probably not say so because they're young. Excuse me, Ealing Jr. He's not a wingback. He's not a wingback, and there's a debate in the media and online that brew over online about people saying, "Oh, but Junior is not defensive good enough." First of all, he's not a defender. Secondly, actually, he has not made any single mistake defensively that lead to some disaster moment, in my opinion. Not at least to the level others have done, who are supposed to be real defenders. He's not a wingback, but he's been playing as a wingback. He will not complain openly because he's a very young kid. He will not show it openly. He doesn't strike me like that person as well. But he's not a wingback. His contract runs out in 28. Even if the club wants to keep him, I think I believe he's that type of player. He will say what is going to happen in the future, because for my own sake, for my own career, I don't want to play wingback because you're asking me to do something that I potentially can do. And when he plays, I don't think he's a disaster. I think he's an okay, good player. Like, he's doing well. However, I think he knows, and I think we all know, he can offer much, much more just in a different role, in his natural role. Sule, for example, Miretti, for example, when he plays with certain players and you ask him to do certain things, it looks better than when you ask him to link up with different players and ask him to do different things. It looked extremely poor. Chiesa, ever since he plays there in that position, is not the same. He's been really, really really poor as well. So it does matter for players what the formation is, what style they're gonna play. It does. And when he said that, Sudakov, I was like, first of all, I respect you for being so open, but also, excuse me, very, very aware of, okay, this is what I want. Because if I choose that, yes, I play for Juve, good wage and all those things, but I'm not gonna develop. I'm not gonna grow into the player I want to grow in, or I want potentially want to become. So when he said that, I was like, credit, but also I was like, I'm happy a player finally said that. Okay, it does matter. It does. If you actually care about your own career, it does matter. And I think the team of the last 3 years is like so many players are playing out of position. So many players have openly talked about that. Kulusevski, like, and even if you don't rate Kulusevski, it's about the mindset. It's about players knowing. It's like even on a Sunday league level, if you're not a right back, but you need to fill in as a right back, you do it in 1 week. But if the following weeks everybody's gonna say, hey, you're gonna play right back again, and you know that's not my skill set. At one point, it's gonna be a drag. It's gonna be right back again. I'm better moving forward. Like going forward, I cannot show my quality. Actually, I'm not that good of a right back. So what? Like it will get into your head at one point, and when the team is not working well, when things are falling apart, you will just fall with them apart. No matter who you are, it will just happen. So when he said that, I was like, very interesting. He's very aware, but also it finally shows that formation does matter. That players are aware of the decisions being made on on a weekly basis. I just imagine Sudakov sitting at home on a Sunday evening and putting on Juve Genoa, or Sunday midday putting on Juve Genoa and be like, oh my god, like I'm being linked with this. I'm not doing this. Probably called his agent immediately and said, don't ring me up about a Juve offer if this is what you're trying to offer me, because I'm not doing this. And a lot of players will look at this. We have players currently in this team looking at this and saying no. And I know the flip side is, oh, you leave if you don't want to be part of it. But it's not that easy at this moment in time. It is. It is absolutely not that easy, because we've seen certain players in different environments do well. So I don't think it's fair not to suggest, oh, but if you want to do this, then leave. Players have roles. And yes, it happens that, once in a few times, another player adapts a different role and he's been very good at it. But if you try to do that with multiple players, something is wrong. And it will cause disconnect and discontent in the group, and it will boil over to the point where we are now. That you have players, and it's not okay, by the way, especially so late on the season, you need to galvanize yourself and go for it. But they're looking at it and they're like, screw this, I'm not doing this, I'm done. It's not okay, but that's what's actually happening now. But I thought it was very relevant what he said. I thought it was very refreshing. So let me know in the comments what you think about the statement of Sudakov. Forget about if you like Sudakov or not, but just in general, do you think it will hamper us signing players and maybe potentially even keeping players? With players liking weird comments all over the place, Bremer, Yildiz, name it. Let me know what you think. Like the video, and I'll see you guys later tonight on the live show.